What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Bling Talks, brought to you by jewelrybox.ai. Today, we're joined by Tré Roberts from Casadevall Group, experts in crafting luxury boutiques and retail spaces for iconic brands like Prada, Gucci, and Breitling, heavily focused in the jewelry space. They were founded in Barcelona. The company definitely blends tradition, innovation, and sustainability to really redefine luxury retail design. Tré, I'm super excited to have you on. Can't wait to hear more about your business, how you got to this space. You don't have a small business. You definitely work with small brands. So I'm looking forward to having a real big conversation with you.
Thanks for the invitation, Anthony. I appreciate it. And thanks for the awesome introduction.
Aye, hey man, it's my pleasure. Thank you for your time. And I always like to tell people, man, just start off just telling us about the brand, what you do, what's it called, what the website is, all that good stuff.
So I am the Director of Business Development for Casadevall North America. Our website is casadevall.group, but you can also find us at casadevallgroup.com. We, like you said, are headquartered in Barcelona, but we have a North American division in Montclair, New Jersey, where we service all of our North American luxury and non-luxury clients. We are heavily settled in the watch and jewelry space, but we're not totally beholden to that space. We work in apparel, we work in medical devices, we do lots of other businesses. So that's what I'm here to do. I'm new to the company, actually, only been about 4 months, but not new to the industry. I've been in watch and jewelry for about 18 years.
Wow, wow. So how'd you get into the seat that you're in now, and what's the main role that you're kind of playing?
So believe it or not, it was networking. Right? So I met my new boss, who's the president of North America, through LinkedIn. He reached out randomly to have a conversation just about industry trends and to get to know each other. And then nothing happened for 10 months. We weren't really even talking about a specific role. We were just talking, getting to know each other. And then out of the blue, I was leaving my previous company and had made plans to join a different company. And he made me an offer and we locked it down within a week.
Wow, wow. And so what department are you working in?
So it's hard to, it's a new role. It didn't exist. So I find myself in a position a lot in this industry, building out a specific role and making it something completely different. Technically, I oversee business development, so bringing in new partners, clients, expanding into other industries, and expanding our overall share of market. But in the short time that I have been here, I've started to take on marketing. We're overhauling the entirety of our digital marketing, social media, and client outreach documents, brand Bible, that whole piece. Um, just because it needed to be done as a tool for business development. I'm also consulting on a lot of how our operational acumen comes into the mix because I come from a very regimented space working for brands like LVMH and Richemont Group, uh, which are heavily seated in organization. So, I'm chipping in where I can, even some site surveys, project management, creative. I'm working on a showroom design right now. So it really does kind of run the gamut.
Yeah, no, every company needs somebody like you,
I think so.
So it sounds like you're stepping into the position very well, and there's a lot that I feel like we can cover here. I'm actually glad you mentioned that. We'll kind of touch on some of the business development stuff on the back half of it, but first, I kind of want to keep focused on you, the business, and kind of what you guys do here. You guys work with some big brands, and
We do.
I wonder, how you acquire those customers. Obviously, there's a brand built. There's a lot of history here, and you mentioned the business development. So I guess how do we get the business in the past, and how do you want to get more business in the future, and what kind of clients are you guys really looking
That's
for
a
here?
great question,
You know,
actually. So traditionally, I mean, Casadevall, the point of difference from this organization, which is one of the reasons I chose to join the organization, was that it's a privately owned company. And the the founder's son runs the company out of Barcelona. So a lot of the decision making is still very internal. It's not heavily layered. We're strategic and nimble in that way, so it makes it easy to be able to pivot. But most of the growth within the company has been organic, right? Like we've had clients come to us to work on a project and they leave an organization and go to a new organization and bring us along, but because we're playing in that very high-end luxury space, we're having people go from Cartier to Breitling to LVMH to Richemont Group, and then it just sort of expands globally. Um, we're at a point now, though, where we are very much invested in the watch and jewelry space, and we'd like to go beyond that. So that's my role, to come in and sort of introduce apparel, hospitality, potentially, food and beverage. So we do a lot on cruise ships. We do medical device packaging. So it really is, how can we be as strategic and diversified going into 2025 and beyond, to sort of shore up the business in a really smart, strategic way.
got it, got it. Couple light bulbs went off for me right there that I might be able to share with you. So I'll write that down real quick. So you guys want to get fat like into fashion, or what are the top two or three verticals you guys want?
I, I think number one on our list is definitely optical. We're focused on, it's a growing business within the luxury space. It's got great margins, and it's sort of an entryway for aspirational clients to get a piece of a luxury brand without fully investing in a luxury brand, right? You can go to a store like a sunglass Hut and get a $500 pair of Prada glasses, but you might not be fully draped in Prada head to toe, right? So it's that, where we're coming with the economy doing what it's doing, inflation going out of control, looming tariffs and other sort of challenges. It's a way for, the everyday person to get a piece of the luxury pie. So
Uh, yeah. So optical, I didn't expect that, but it does make a lot of sense, and people definitely wear those every day, and probably can afford that over a $5,000 pair of shoes or whatever it is
right,
that.
or a bag, right? So it's a market that, and it's a global market, and it's very much in line and aligned with the jewelry and watch industry, its accessories. So a lot of the manufacturing, the design, works together to sort of, there are similarities and synchronicities between all of those industries. So we see a lot of growth potential in that space.
And I'm kind of picking up, this is more of a good old boy thing. Hey, there's only so many of these luxury brands and so many people that, provide services to the caliber that you guys do. Do you guys go to like trade shows, or is it all just kind of referral?
It's selectively. So I have counterparts in Denmark and Switzerland, and in Spain. So they're we go to the trade shows that make sense, right? A lot of the trade shows end up being a lot about sales, but sales from a B2B perspective. They're not in the market to look for new suppliers or partners during those shows. So a lot of times, the efforts go overlooked with us showing up. So we try to set specific appointments, reach out on a one-to-one basis, a lot of social networking, believe it or not, especially in New York City. It's key to be a part of these kinds of groups. Like I'm a member of RDI, the Retail Design Institute, that throws events probably monthly, but we're commingling with other retail design professionals who are working in this space and beyond. So a lot of those conversations get had at these kinds of events.
Nice, nice, nice. So Makes sense there. And as far as um, you know, the way that the future looks for what you guys are doing, you're basically, building product environments. You mentioned a lot of packaging, so
Mhm.
your Tiffany and Co boxes or whatever you'd like to mention to it. But kind of what emerging trends are you seeing that are shaping the future of that industry, whether it's AI or you know CAD or some of
So,
this technology that's coming has to be kind of paramount.
I mean, it's a good question, but I mean, having been in this business for as long as I have, the the thing about jewelry specifically is it is slower by nature than a lot of other markets. And that's not just in terms of like how product turns, it's also in terms of like technology adoption. I don't see a lot of even the most advanced retailers running towards AI or even RFID technology. There are other like low hanging fruit things that have been invested in and are being actively used in other parts of retail that jewelry doesn't actively adopt. Yeah, I think they will, but I think that they tend to be somewhat behind the curve in that way. I've been in some retail stores where they're still swiping credit cards on like a carbon copy machine.
Dude, it's out of control. The
So, and
family
I
owned.
think that it's not because they don't have access to it. It's not because they don't have the money to adopt it. It's a comfort level. Um, it's a family business inherently, and it's usually like my dad's not comfortable with us involving this technology yet, so we're not going to do it.
Yeah.
We'll keep doing it the way we've always been doing it. But I think as a counterpoint, we're as suppliers and designers and manufacturers, we do need to adopt those technologies to bring our clients along for the ride, which is what we're planning to do.
Yeah. I think you're definitely right about the industry being slower to adapt. There's no question about that. It's a little archaic. There's definitely a handful of people though that are winning and that are ahead of the
There
game,
are, yeah,
and
I agree.
makes it easy for them, easier. They're still going up against big box stores. That's what a lot of the independents don't understand. Like you have no clue what they're leveraging against the
Right.
small guys right now. So, and this technology revolution will be about 100 years of growth in about three. So this one will be about 10 times as fast. The computation is way quicker. Um, so part of this is to kind of protect them a little bit as
Yeah.
well. Give them
I
the
think they get a little scared. They're a little scared of that much growth, like you said, in such a short period of time and not being able to control or corral it in a way that they're used to. So, yeah, we will see. It'll be interesting because it's happening one way or another.
right.
But
I thought that maybe you would say like because I feel like AI design of definitely like product and packaging is very doable. Even like showrooms, but
yeah,
you gotta kind of, I guess, see it, and it'll never be, what it is when you're, bespoking with somebody there, but it kind of allows you to paint a picture before building, or 10 pictures before building.
which honestly, I don't see anything wrong with that. It's basically like swipe. Like if you're going to Pinterest or compiling inspiration to create a showroom, um, if you're using it that way, I don't see any issue with leveraging AI. But you'll always need a designer, a heart, a soul, somebody with intention and, a through line of thought process to bring it to life in a way that other shoppers and like people can engage with. And, AI can't do that yet. Not
Yeah,
yet.
yeah. No, it can't yet. It can help that professional in some cases, but uh, I
And
go,
I think as workforces start to diminish too, like especially in the creative spaces, because that's what we sort of saw at COVID, right? Like as soon as COVID hit, all of the creative people, all the store planning and visual merchandising people were immediately let go. They're like, no stores, we don't need you. but they were also the first ones hired back when they realized that retail was coming back.
Hmm. That's a
So
very
you do need a human touch to really make it relatable.
wow. Yeah, that's a really good point. And definitely, I'm seeing that a lot more in the custom space. People that do it. That there's stories behind a lot of this jewelry. There's
Hmm.
an experience that those people still like to have. They want to feel it, touch it, build it.
I mean, that's why we buy jewelry, right?
Yeah,
It's for the
yeah,
stories, for the heritage, for the design, for how it makes us feel, not how it necessarily looks. But I think that to your point before, the trends in retail design are going the same way. Like we're seeing stores being built with a lot more intention, a lot more design focus. The ones that are successful, like I just walked through Skims, like on Fifth Avenue, and I wanted to not like it. I couldn't help but love it. It's really, really well done, and it's beautifully merchandised. Architecturally, it's gorgeous. It's laid out. The flow is exceptional. The service level was great. I have nothing bad to say about it. No notes. It was, but I
nice.
think we'll see more of that as we progress in redeveloping not even the luxury space, because I was putting Skims in a luxury price point, and it's not. It's very accessible, but they're building the stores like a luxury store.
Yeah, that's.
So it's interesting.
So I got a question. You guys work with a lot of high end clients. Can you kind of tell me just a good story and a bad story? Uh, you know,
Probably should avoid the bad story. Or not name names, but every client is different. We've developed these relationships over years. A lot of them are, like I said, word of mouth, like clientele that like balloon into these like larger client relationships. And a lot of it is because, like we said, staffs are understaffed and they don't have the ability to, they're not bidding out every single project. They don't have time. Um, and post COVID, there's all this real estate up for grabs. So everybody's like leveraging that like on a day-to-day basis. I mean, look, I'm gonna sidestep this question because I haven't been here long enough to really, really say. But I do have some irons in the fire for some new clients who are not necessarily these massive giants yet. So I'm sort of focused on who's up next, like our roster of new kids on the block in terms of new jewelers, new retailers. We're seeing a lot of D2C brands go brick and mortar. And I find that to be really interesting because it gives us an opportunity to design and build in a way that isn't like mired in history, in, heritage. We work with a lot of heritage brands, and you can't really do much with them creatively because they know exactly what they want.
right. Um, is there any companies? Do you guys work with small businesses,
Yeah, we do.
like
We do.
family owned and operated jewelers, like people that would be listening to this, or is there kind of a
So I mean, yeah, we can talk about that one. So we are working with a company called Unique Designs. They're based out of Secaucus, New Jersey. But they are a private label jeweler for a lot of other brands, but they've decided to build their own brand and go brick and mortar in 2025. So we're partnering with them to help design and build out their first flagship space. So these kinds of opportunities are the things that like really well excite me because I come from a design and creative background. So it gives us the ability to sort of really weigh in and innovate and see something completely new in the market space.
absolutely? So definitely a creator's preferably like to work on something like that if you're in the creative and design space. So a lot more exciting and fun. Well, that's good to know. That I was just curious, if you guys work with only the bigger brands or some of the.
Now we kind of run the gamut. I mean, it really depends on, I will say with millwork, it's easier, right? Because the volume is there. Like if you're building out a whole space, we can dedicate production and design time to creating something like that. If we're working in something like display or packaging, generally we're looking for more volume-based partners to have it make sense from a production standpoint. But the cool thing about this company too is that we manufacture in 5 different countries all over the world, in wholly owned and operated facilities, right? So we have Vietnam, Romania, China, Mexico, and Spain, and are always looking to expand further.
Wow. Wow. What an accomplishment and fun place to be working at.
It is. It's fun. It can be a bit like Wild West, still
Right.
sort of figuring things out. But the company's 50 plus years old, so it's not new. Um, but we run pretty lean and pretty scrappy, but we've got some of the best clients in the world. So it's kind of weirdly unique amalgamation of things that made this look a really fun challenge for me.
Amazing. Amazing. So I'll ask probably a couple questions and I'll let you get back to kicking butt. But you mentioned one of the things that you were working on is some of the operations and things like that. And I think when a lot of people think about AI and some of the new technology that's coming, they're thinking design and video and media, but the real power is in the business operations,
I agree.
automation, automating mundane tasks, and again, bringing people their time, money, and freedom when they need to. So, what type of systems, if you guys put anything like that in place, or do you guys, what do you guys kind of use for the operational tech side?
So a lot of tech, actually, a lot of the operational stuff is manual at this point, which, coming from this sort of sized organization is sort of staggering to think about. But, a lot of what was, like I said, the organic growth didn't allow a lot of room for systems implementation. But I think that now that we're getting to a point now where we're growing even further, um, now's the time, right? So we're already having conversations. Actually, it's funny you say like wrap up because I have a marketing call for our overhaul of our marketing campaign after this. And a lot of the conversation for that is centered around AI. So we're going to start leveraging AI from a marketing perspective to see how it services the brand and see how that integrates in a more meaningful way from an operational and systems standpoint.
Yes. Well, it was a great time to have you on, honestly, then, because that's definitely what we're doing, and in the jewelry space, but also our platform and services obviously reach out to many different industries as well. But we like to focus because it just allows us to add so much more value to every jeweler. Like when I'm doing 50 different campaigns,
Right. I
I
mean,
can
it sort of
well,
takes the the heavy lift out of it, right? Like you can get your inspiration, your content, and I will say an interesting point within this specific as a supplier for these kinds of brands, what we run into is when we're reaching out to the market is NDAs, right? And we're not at liberty to talk about a lot of our clients in a
mm,
marketing
mm,
space,
uh,
um, just because of their comfort level and like what they're able to share and timing on their projects. So AI is going to give us the ability to sort of have these conversations without being super specific and without needing like copious amount of content to be able to talk to what our capabilities and achievements are.
absolutely. Absolutely. Well, there's a lot of things that we could kind of dive into there, you and I, but we'll sidebar that, and we'll kind of let you get to that meeting. But first, Trey, I just wanted to thank you for jumping on. It's a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to building
You
a
too.
relationship with you. Thanks for sharing some stuff with the community, guys. If you want to get a hold of Trey uh, and Casadevall, please, Trey, just finish off by telling them where to get a hold of you guys and all that
I
good stuff.
mean, yeah, I mean, I'll give the website again. It's casadevall.group. And if you want to get a hold of me directly, you can just hit me up at trey@casadevallgroup.com.
Awesome, Trey. Thank you so much. It was an absolute pleasure, and I look forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for listening, guys.
Thanks, guys.